welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me are two people that just got done sweeping off footprints off of giant sand dunes in Yuma, Arizona. It's John Levengood and Megan Hoffmeyer.
You guys find anything yet? We ain't found shit.
Stop moving. We gotta start again.
I love that, too, that they went out on these sand dunes, and then they thought, oh, crap, we can't have any footprints on this. How are we going to get this off? Jet engines. They brought jet engines.
Do you think that it started?
Yeah.
It started with a Spaceballs reference, like, oh my god, between takes, we have all these footprints in the sand we need to take out. It's like, okay, who here saw Spaceballs? Who has a giant hair comb?
We need to comb the desert. But it's just, I love that in the commentary for this, Roland Emmerich, the director, and Dean Devlin, the producer and writers, were just saying that they brought in gigantic fans. That didn't work. Then they brought in, like, jet engines to get the footprints off the sand. And then they just hired 30 people with brooms. That was and those same 30 people had giant igloo coolers strapped to their backs. And so they would go water the crew during the 110 days, 120 degree days in Yuma, Arizona while shooting this movie on location.
Oh man, like the ones on the football sideline?
Yes, and they were strapped to their backs.
Oof. As long as it's not a Yeti, those things are heavy.
And they kept showing people passed out.
It's funny because last year I spent 10 days in Arizona in August doing field work, collecting insects. And I totally understand what they mean. So I've been to the tropics where it's like, only 80 or 90 degrees, but almost 100% humidity all the time. You sweat constantly, but every now and then you're going to pee because you're drinking water all the time. Whereas when I was in Arizona, I feel like you peed when you woke up and maybe before bed because you were just sitting down drinking fluids for 2 or 3 hours after dark. Mm-hmm. But during the day, chugging water for like 8, 12 hours. And I don't think that I stopped to pee more than one time in 10 days while it was sunup.
Oh, wow. If I had a landscaping company, that's where I'd do because my crew wouldn't want to leave. Like I wouldn't have to worry about bathroom breaks.
Right.
You'd have to worry about them being passed out, though.
Yeah, it's true. They said they drank 5 gallons of water a day on this movie.
How pissed would you be if you just combed the sand or whatever, and then one of the water guys just passes out?
Just falls, and then you have to sweep him out?
Mm-hmm.
And he rolls down the dune.
Yeah.
Damn it, Jerry!
Apparently, they had a huge extra scene. So a couple days on Stargate, they had 1,200 to 1,500 extras on set, and you can tell. Like, there's some giant days on this movie.
The tribes people?
Yeah, but one day, though, they don't know why, but some splinter crew ran off in another direction. They just followed somebody, and then they set off a whole new trail, and then other people followed them, so you had 1,200 people storming the wrong direction.
Oh.
And then they had to... What's up?
Oh, I was going to say, with all the extras they had, because they said, like, duplicating them with, CGI at the time, and, 94, 93 maybe when they were making it, right? Mm-hmm. It just didn't work. It's like, it's a good thing they didn't try and do zombie hordes for The Walking Dead back then.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that'd be a nightmare with all those. And also, too, I mean, I love in this scene where James Spader, he's walking through the Stargate, and he's just sitting there bopping his little finger in it, and he's dancing in front of it, and he's doing little swirls on it, and he spells out, his name, and he puts a little heart and symbols in it and everything. And there's a producer with a stop clock. He's going to hurry up, hurry up. Each second is, 6 months of post-production and $3 million. So while Spader's up there doing tic-tac-toe...
for the graphics.
Yeah, there's a producer sitting there going, you're killing me. You're killing me. You're killing me. This is 93, guys. This isn't 2020. We are getting murdered right now. This is not good. Tell Spader to move. And then Spader was just up there doodling. You see him play tic-tac-toe. But I just love that they were counting how much money. Because remember, John, during our Event Horizon episode, where just that one shot took them an entire year?
The opening spiral shot of the space station?
That took an entire year, Megan, the opening shot of Event Horizon. And the guy who did it quit and the guy who did it quit the industry because it was such a nightmare for him that year.
Well, you're never going to beat that either. That's the other thing.
And so this guy quit the industry because of something he had to do in 97. So imagine in 94 you have this giant Stargate and Spader's up there playing tic-tac-toe. Mm-hmm. It hurts. But yeah, I just love 93 VFX. VFX!
Oh,
there weren't a lot of those really cool liquid effects at the time. Like we had The Abyss, which was 89-ish?
Yeah.
And that had some amazing, especially at the time, water effects, which were done very cleverly in this movie, right, with the Watergate, with this, what would they do, like an air cannon into water, was it, or something like that?
And the first one was too much water.
Right, but and they were saying like it launched out and landed on a producer or something. but like, so in this one though, a lot of it, despite all the CGI work that went into the Stargate surface, it was still like they were very clever about it to make it more doable. Whereas in the Abyss, boy, I'd love to hear them complain about how hard that was to make at the time and how easy that would be now with that little like serpentine water thing, you know, looking at Ed Harris.
They filmed that movie in an old like nuclear facility in a giant water tank that kept getting rusty and holes and lightning, and the Abyss production was a nightmare. I'd love to do an episode on that.
Well, didn't they say that the Pixar crew, they didn't perfect water as an animation until The Good Dinosaur in 2015? I mean, that's a good 20 years still from this movie.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So these guys helped it out. They helped...
They were the trendsetters.
With an air cannon that just blasted water out.
It probably inspired some young animator.
Oh. John and Megan, we came to a realization while watching this movie again. The realization is that this is a breezy, almost 2-hour movie. And I think that's because of its A, B, C, D, E, F, G structure. There's no twists. Right. Like, you know Kurt Russell's depressed. Whoever those people hired to do the hieroglyphics were horrible, because Spader walks in there and fixes it all in a second. But then...
They didn't have the internet, though.
Yeah, it's true. They go to this other planet, and then they meet some people, then Ra lands, Ra gets their missile, we gotta stop the missile, and then the movie's over. And I think it's breezy. This is a breezy... We were an hour in. I was like, an hour in? This movie flies by.
Yeah.
And I watched only the extended cut. So I watched the extended cut twice, and that's 2 hours and 9 minutes. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh, gosh. And it wasn't dread, but it's like, I got to watch this twice this weekend, in addition to some special featurette stuff. I'm like, man. But it really, it doesn't feel it. You don't, I'm not saying watch it as a background movie, but you don't need to have like your eyes and ears glued to it. You're not going to miss anything. It's not even just that it's linear. It is a perfectly straight line of plot.
Yes. I mean, I was honestly working on Christmas presents, and it was very easy to follow. I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah, it flies by.
Yeah.
I feel like the most complicated part of the plot is when they split up in the beginning, and those guys hold down the base camp while Kurt Russell is going off chasing, James Spader when that bantha-like thing is running away. Mm-hmm. And so for a little while, you're trading between the two locations, but otherwise, there are almost never two different locations with things going on concurrently. It's basically just that. And then at the very end, when they're yo-yoing teleportation things between Ra's ship and the planet. Mm-hmm. And again, that's just very brief. It's almost like going from one room to another because it's teleportation. So it's again, it's not even that the plot is linear. It's that two things are hardly ever even going on at the same time. And when they are, they're very basic concepts. They're holding down base camp. We're watching these guys. Oh, crap, there's a sandstorm there. Oh, but there's a sandstorm here. It's coming from there to here. It's very easy to follow what's going on. This is, for plot, what a James Wan movie is for understanding the layout of a house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just... And at the end, right, when there's a couple different narratives, you have the soldiers, Lieutenant Kowalski. Oh, brother, they say Kowalski many times.
Every time they say Kowalski, Mark goes, ugh.
I love that, though, because I remember his name.
Yeah. If you're that character, you want to be Kowalski. Like, if I read a script and I'm on screen, what do you think? 20% of the time? But my name is said 7,000 times? That's the perfect...
What if his name was Jensen Kowalski?
Oh, that'd be bad.
But it's like the Colonial Marines and Aliens. A lot of people, if you watch the movie a bunch of times, obviously, you remember the names of these people because when they're going in, when they all get slaughtered by the aliens in the corridor, you're constantly, Apone, what's going on? Frost, where's Bowski? Hicks, Vasquez, you got eyes on Frost. I got eyes on Frost. We lost Apone. And these are all names that you hear constantly, and you're seeing these people in high duress while their names are being called. In this one, we really only get that for Kowalski of our Colonial Marine crew, if you will. I always remember French Stewart's character, but not his name, because I'm always thinking, how is he the tough guy of the group?
he's got the sleeveless shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kurt Russell saw him. And we talked about Kurt. Our first episode of MFF is dedicated to Kurt Russell's sleeveless shirts. But I think Kurt Russell said, let's give French Stewart the juice on this one.
He had a sleeveless movie, Kurt Russell.
I think John has a good point, though. You're not usually great at remembering names of characters, and you know this guy's name is Kowalski, Mark.
Yeah.
Well, Kowalski and French Stewart, but they also had the best character moments.
Yeah. But what's French Stewart's character's name?
French
Stewart?
Ferretti. But no one ever said, hey, Ferretti.
That's right. I right after watching it, I could have told you that. French
Ferretti. French Ferretti. Say that 5 times, you'll never forget.
I don't even remember what the others looked like.
This movie, too, this felt like a pre-soldier type role with the kind of shirt and fist fight. The Anubis fist fight is basically his fist fight with Jason Scott Lee in Soldier.
Well, and we have an arid planet. We have a similar, even though we're looking at early civilization very much echoes what we see in kind of post-apocalyptic movies, your Mad Max, your Waterworld, the kind of guerrilla tactics that people are using economically to make their lean-tos, their structures, and their clothes and their basic implements when resources are scarce in these resource-depauperate lands. I even thought of things like Mad Max and Waterworld while watching this. Of course, Waterworld came out after this by a year, which I thought was funny because when they offer Shuri to Jackson, James Spader's character, I was like, oh, this is like when the Mariner was at that floating town and they offered a woman to him. I'm like, oh, that inspired that. It's like, oh, no, wait, that came out after this.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be discounted, he is also a soldier.
Yeah.
Right. But like all the trinkets they wear, kind of like these weird chunky decorations that they're wardrobed in. Again, Mad Max, Waterworld. I think that way back in our Mad Max Fury Road episode, I was talking about how Mad Max Fury Road was probably influenced by Waterworld, and you're like, no, man, the original Mad Max and Road Warrior were influencing all these post-apocalyptic movies.
Mm-hmm. And then Stagecoach was like the proto Mad Max, and then Mad Max influenced everything pretty much after that, I would say.
In comparing to Soldier also, we have this arid planet. We have a sandstorm in both of them.
Yep.
You can't have a good, like The Mummy even. Like you can't have a good desert movie or Egypt movie without a sandstorm.
Needed more snakes.
You know what, visually, a lot of the cute shots reminded me of Independence Day and Transformers. There was a lot of that going on for me visually. Like some of the soldier shots and some of the overheads with the aircraft or whatnot.
Yeah, there's the Michael Bay shot where the plane flies over Kowalski. That's been in every single Michael Bay movie since.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
That might have been...
The Transformers, I think, did it best, to be honest. But yeah, they all have that. You see so much DNA of Independence Day, which was, I think, 2 years after this, in this too. Even their spears that function as guns. Those guns remind me a lot of the guns on the alien ships in Independence Day. The ships themselves, even though they aren't shaped the same for some reason, the way they come out of the ship, our Egypt ship, when it kind of fragments a bit, reminds me of when you get really close up, just all the detail, if you will. The Blade Runner-like surface of these big structures.
And also, John, I mean, the same directors, right? Same Roland Emmerich, same producer. Same composer. But, like, aliens come to Earth. Ra comes to this planet. Mm-hmm. And at the end, they put, a nuclear bomb on the alien ship in Independence Day. Right. And then in Stargate, they put the bomb on Ra's flying pyramid?
Ship?
The Ra-mobile?
Wait, hold on. Is the Ra-mobile a flying pyramid, or are pyramids Ra's docking stations?
Whoa.
And that's why they're shaped that way, because maybe his ship was already shaped that way, and he wanted to make convenient docking stations for the civilizations he was making.
That sounds about... I mean, why make a square? You might as well make the pyramid. Problem solved.
Because it's very impressive looking.
Yeah. So he built docking stations around the world, which is wild. Ra. He got blown up. But no, I do love, though, and also you have you have Jeff Goldblum, the really kind of hackery, nerdy guy, with James Spader.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the tough pilot, kind of like, because he was Air Force in this, Kurt Russell. And so you have the tough soldier, played by, Jack O'Neill. Wait, and then they employ all the humans to come help, or I don't know if they're humans, they're kind of aliens, I don't know what they are, to help them in their battle. Yeah. And then they get former soldiers at Independence Day, like Randy Quaid, to come fight.
There's not a lot of backstory here. I don't think we're worrying about the details of what they are.
No, there's some similarities, but I mean, so many directors do that. J.J. Guillermo del Toro, geez Louise, like you see the DNA in all of his movies.
He reuses his most unique idea, like ideas that are unique to him, and so like a swath of all of his movies. It's amazing. Clockwork things, unhinged jaws, spider-like things. It's interesting how he does that. I like it though. It's fun to pick them apart and be like, these are so similar, but it's not in a way that feels cheap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, what a neat idea, and he's readopted it over here. Now, you mentioned the composer, too. I was writing down from the opening credits, and then I was, like, putting asterisks and exclamation points later. Like, I was like, this is music like Indiana Jones, like Jurassic Park.
It sounds so much like Indiana Jones. Every time I heard it, I sort of had visions of Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and now you said it, I'll say sure, maybe Independence Day too, but honestly, even now, I'm thinking more Jurassic Park and Indiana Jones, which I guess, they would have been influencers of this from two slightly different, time brackets, but like it felt so on point for that. Scores are meant to augment or create mood for you, but usually they're just kind of there, and without it, the movie is flawed, and you're just. You know what I mean? Usually a score is just there because you need something there to bring it together. But when a score is done well, like Hank Williams and anything he's ever done, or Hans Zimmer and anything he's ever done.
Wait, John Williams.
Is that who did episode 1, for example?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, John Williams. So,
but
Hank
I also
Williams,
like Hank Williams'
the
music.
baseball player. But like that score really made this so next level.
And they get their money's worth out of it because they play it a lot.
Yeah. But the problem is with it, John or Megan, if you can do it, as soon as I hear it, that's a Stargate score. But I couldn't hum it right now for the life of me.
In my head, it sounds like the Indiana Jones score, so I can't do it.
Could you do it, John?
I could do something, but I don't even know if I'm manifesting something that isn't it.
Let me hear it. Let's hear it.
Na 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 na. It kind of repeats like that.
I can see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got that sort of building sense of wonder and adventure, and
I mean, it's memorable.
Yeah. It has definite feels in it.
I mean, Kowalski, the score, they use it a lot.
Well, the composer was David Arnold, and he went on to do Independence Day. He did Godzilla and Sherlock, 5 Bond movies.
Wow.
Little Britain and Good Omens.
And he was applying for a job at a video rental store when he got the job for this.
Yeah, this was his first blockbuster score.
Wow.
Oh, and he also composed...
So it was either do a blockbuster score or work at a blockbuster store.
Yeah.
I mean, in the 90s, that was a tough decision.
That's a tough choice, John. If I could be an assistant store manager at a blockbuster... No, I'm joking. But you know what else, too, I liked about this movie? Since it came out in 94, and just listening to the commentaries, you see these creatures, and it was a horse with a big costume over it. It was a dog in the long, wide shots carrying a puppet. And a lot of these sets that got windstorms were these beautiful miniatures that look excellent. I mean, there's some really good miniatures in this movie that look real. And then you also have the gigantic sweeping shots of 1,200 to 1,500 extras. I sort of miss that epic scope of Lawrence of Arabia and those giant Bond films where you had to bring in everybody. And at the end, when they charge all those people, it's still that's a big job, John.
It was a Braveheart moment, but without the gravitas of Braveheart.
Yeah.
Well, the practicality of it really is sold in the shots. It doesn't look like a super old movie. It's very practical. It's almost like sort of a Tremors sort of thing.
So it's aged well.
Yeah.
I think that's because they went on location.
Mm-hmm.
They had, they built solid miniatures. They had Patrick Tatopoulos, who is the guy that worked on, he's in production design now, but he worked on I Am Legend, Underworld, Pitch Black, Spawn, Independence Day, Silent Hill, The Ruins, and he was the production designer on Justice League, Batman v Superman. But I like the design of those warriors of Jaimin Hunsu and who's the other guy? Anubis. Like, I like those helmets. I don't know how practical they are, but they look great.
Mm-hmm.
And just the melt sticks that they had. I stole that from you, from Thor Ragnarok. And so I'm sorry. I should have took that from you. But I think this movie's aged well. Would you say, John?
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair to say. Like, there are parts, you can find little pieces of the effects that you can pick out as not looking current, but at the same time, if you're not looking for this, if you're just in the movie, if you're just watching the movie, I don't feel like you catch this. Unless, you just have, your perpetual critic's eye, and some people do that. But I think, it holds up real well. A lot of the effects, there aren't a lot of effects that are the type of effects. Like you said, it's very practical. Even their little teleportation thing, that holds up pretty well, in my opinion.
They hated that. I think that's why it looks so good, because every time
they did it a bunch of times, though. It's like, once you figure it out, like, use it as much as you can.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why it still looks good, because the two of them hated it. Roland Emmerich has done so many special effects. 2012, Midway. I mean, Godzilla. But the way he talked about those teleportation things, John, it's like, it seems like he would, if he could go back in time, he would fist fight those things. I don't know how he could do it, but he would want to fist fight. He's like, oh, the rings. So they must have hated, but they look great. I don't know. I dig it.
It was a cool concept too.
What was it in particular that they didn't like about it?
Well, it was the independent rings moving down and then moving back up. So they couldn't do it practically on set, I don't think. So they had to figure out some funky way. And everyone got frustrated, and there was headlocks on set. Kurt Russell had to break everybody up. Spader knocked him out.
A melt stick on someone.
Yeah, someone got melt sticked. But John, you were saying this, and Megan, you've been saying this. Do you think this movie made $196 million worldwide
in 1994?
Yeah. So it made what 70 some million domestic, and inflated with Box Office Mojo, that's 159 million. So let's say this movie made 400 million worldwide, give and take international inflation rates. That's a big haul. And it also had the longest life imaginable on cable. And it had 4 spin-off shows, hundreds of episodes, direct-to-DVD movies, animated shows. But do you think it's because of just how this movie's had a long life and spawned a big following? And I mean, millions of people love the show because it's just so simple?
Yeah, I think they didn't spend too much time getting into the weeds, so that left a lot of room to grow the world. I read somewhere that this was supposed to be a trilogy, but then the rights got sold to MGM, and they decided to do a show.
Oh, interesting.
And then, what's his name? Dean Devlin was not happy with it, and he wouldn't watch the show.
Yeah, he hates the show.
Until he made peace with it, finally.
Because money. Producer money.
Well, he was really excited about making more movies.
Because, what do you think, John? I mean, it's a simple setup. It's a circle you walk through.
Mm-hmm.
and then you don't need
go to another world.
It
lends itself to other stories.
Yeah, and I think the story too. It's so. I think it's had a long life on cable because it's just so breezy. I don't know. I dig it. I think it lends itself to it. And Ebert gave it 1 star. He said it was Ed Wood-esque in its making.
No.
Yeah, he hated it. And
there's so many zingers in that review.
Yeah, he hates this movie, and he's like one of my heroes. But on this thing, he was that. But I do think, I think there's something to say in the simplicity of the film. Now I know Spader wasn't a fan of the script, but then he met Emmerich and he liked it. Kurt Russell wasn't a fan of the script, but then he read the right one, and he liked it. Yeah,
and Devlin claims that Russell told Spader, yeah, it doesn't have to be a great script. That's why they're paying you $1 million to come and make it good.
And I think, Spader really did make it interesting. His little mannerisms, his little aneurysms. But I think what a lot of people get on this movie, but they don't. This is just a nice, simple, and I'm not insulting a movie when I say simple. It's
concise. It's a clean story. It's sort of, doesn't waste time on extra stuff.
And I think that's why it's watchable, I would say. What do you think, John?
No, we keep calling it simple, but it's not. There's nothing to debase here.
Yeah. And I just don't want people thinking when I say simple that it's wrong. So, you watch Hard Rain, and you have robbers coming into a town that's getting rained, but then there's double crosses, and there's just that's not simple. That's like when I talk about simple for this is these people go to a foreign planet. There's a god that comes down. They have to defeat him, and then they come back.
Well, it's very linear.
Yeah, it's very linear
storytelling.
And I just don't. So when you read these reviews about this movie, like, oh, they don't explain this, they don't do that. But I also think the simplicity, in a good way, of the story is what made it have such an audience, I think. That's just for me.
Well, normally, too, you have a villain, and your villain has a goal, and you're following, learning about the villain's goal and the development of the villain's plan while you're watching characters learn little tidbits about it until they figure out what that plan is. And now they're trying to foil the plan. So you have these two things concurrently going on. Whereas Ra is just a dude who exists somewhere, and people came and essentially started messing things up in his house. And so his life never changed. He had a pest infestation, and he was slowly trying to deal with it. But because they're intelligent pests, yes, you want to find out what they're doing here. You want not just dispatch them all. He saves Spader's life clearly for some reason to find out interrogate, if you will, find out what they're doing here, find out why they brought this weapon here. But really, Ra is in the seat of the good guy for responding to the actions of the movie.
Yeah, he just comes down to, well, I guess, Ra, It just comes down to the planet and...
Yeah, that was interesting. I read a little bit about Jay Davidson. So his role when he was acting in it, they fixed it in editing. Mm-hmm. He was supposed to be a human overseer who was still a slave to the aliens. So he was a human overseeing the humans.
Like a steward to the aliens' kingdom.
But he was not an alien himself. He was just sort of their overseer. And then they changed it in post-production during editing. And he said he was just grateful that he had so many... He was sober later, but... He was grateful they didn't edit him out.
Yeah, and they just gave him red eyes in a couple shots to let everyone know he was an alien.
I thought that was interesting. So he didn't even play that role.
Yeah, and they subtitled everything over that other dialogue.
Arguably, too, that's one of the effects that doesn't hold up, is the reddening of the eyes. But it's so minor. It's such a little thing that it still perfectly succeeds at showing you that he has a power that we would loosely use a word as supernatural, that is otherworldly, that is either magical or something. He has some power, and it does that well. Whereas if his whole body glowed with 1994 effects, it probably wouldn't hold up well at all.
No. And I think another reason why that might look rough is because they didn't plan on it. Mm-hmm. Test audience was like, "Who's this guy?"
I honestly think it looks better than a pair of contacts would.
Yeah, so they just chucked in a few red eye moments, and then and it's interesting. So watching this movie again, and I want to see what you two think about this. I just thought there's a lot of children in very little clothing in this movie, it's kind of odd watching nowadays. But Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich said that they added those kids to make the audiences feel unease, like this Ra is keeping children around him. Like this. So he goes around and he picks the most beautiful kids. Or I'm gendering it. But it picks all these kids and takes them around with it. But that was supposed to make you feel uneasy.
Yeah, I guess that makes
honestly,
sense.
I just imagine that's what it would look like when Pharaoh had his concubine isn't the word I'm looking for, but has his vessels around him. I mean, it's Egypt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not in this case, we're on some other planet, but it's Egypt. It's hot. You don't wear a lot of clothes for a reason. So and a lot of times they were scribing things onto their bodies, like temporary tattoo, like the royal household. So if we're to take Egyptian history, which apparently Ra created, so it didn't strike me as weird at all. That just struck me as, I wonder if someone read that this is what it was like in Pharaoh's quarters.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a power play. You got the pretty young things and you're lording them around, and taking away clothing is typically some sort of power move. You're not allowing them to exist in a more comfortable fashion, so it makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
But they might be sweating if they were in more clothes.
Yeah. And the lack of clothing makes you more vulnerable, too, and less likely to, I don't know, Getting a scuffle.
Take off. No one wants to run in the sand, so he's safe
without
there.
A shirt.
I'm not going out in the sand.
Kids are going to be more easily permanently manipulated. You can sculpt them. It's a horrible thing to say, but it's almost like in equatorial Africa when you have, these kids who are kind of brainwashed by these like death squads, they force the kids to execute people, maybe even their own families, and they take away their conscience and they just turn into junior warlords.
Like War Boys in Mad Max. Do you think Anubis and Jaimin Hunsu were his like former youngins and then they became warriors? Are they immortal?
Maybe. Or they're just very privileged. We don't know how many generations have happened in this civilization. We don't know how recently seeded this planet is. Does this planet currently have that one large village? Or is that one village one of numerous on a continent or multiple continents on a world that are all seeded? And Ra just stops by this one in one season and another in another season?
And that's how we got Stargate, the TV show.
Yeah. What's Ra's plan?
I've never seen any of that.
What's Ra's plan?
Neither have I, but I think it's a plausible way to get to a serialized TV show,
But like, is Ra just in the early stages of what eventually leads to Jupiter ascending?
Whoa. So he's going to hang out with Eddie Redmayne?
Well, he might be Eddie Redmayne's great to the 15th power or 5,000th power grandfather.
What's Ra's plan? So Ra goes and collects these minerals. Does that mineral run his ship? Does he go to an alien swap meet and turn in those minerals? Why is he popping back to this planet?
Well, let's not forget. So he had already seeded ancient Egypt on Earth.
Yeah.
And then, 7 to 8,000 years later, here we are, right? So this is him starting over. He's at some stage in the earlier stages starting over on this other planet where, again, it's now, with this dimensional travel, who's to say what's going on with time? But literally compared to Earth, it's a deficit of 7 or 8,000 years. Is Ra that old since he started seeding planets? Has he seeded other planets? And if so, and if he started with Earth and now he's over there, well, Earth doesn't have this mineral. So he's just recently come across this mineral.
Yeah.
I thought it was all a plan to feed into his need for immortality.
Oh, yeah.
Well, but he needs human bodies for that.
Mm-hmm.
So when he got that body, John, how long have humans been around in regards to like Jay Davison's, not like Cro-Magnon, like how long have humans
the civilization on this planet that we're seeing in this movie?
Or like us as humans on this Earth. So presuming that he took that form when he landed on Earth, like Jay Davis, like you know what I mean? So he took Jay Davison's form.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It took, I don't know.
He's been using and repairing that body for either upwards of 8,000 plus years. Mm-hmm. And that's 8,000 from Egyptian times, not leading up to it. But who's to say that he didn't create things on a much faster scale? I don't know. And maybe the 10,000 years that it took, more than that. It depends on how we're talking about evolution, right? I mean, is he really starting with bacteria on a planet and like single-celled things to get to humans? Or is he are we just playing that he created mankind in a basic sense, and within 1,000 years he had ancient Egypt? It's tough to say because if he seeded a planet in the sense of we're starting with a big bang on that planet,
so
he created that big bang. Right, it's a super long time, but maybe that's not maybe he can go into a cryostasis. He was traveling across the known universe. Arguably, any life form would need to, because he had to get to Earth. So he had to be in some kind of a stasis. He was a dying creature, and he needed to travel even at greater than light speed, what would have taken thousands of years to make. This is one of the arguments that Neil deGrasse Tyson has for when people say, well, if they're aliens, why haven't we seen them yet? It's like, well, they could have started to travel to us before humans were humans, and we will be long extinct by the time they get to us, even with faster than light travel. So, it's like time is such a wishy-washy thing when we're talking about universe level discussions in a sci-fi plot-sphere.
Well,
and then the other argument is did he just whiz over there in a second, like in the Event Horizon, right? Mm-hmm. Does he have that kind of time travel or, time-space travel ability? And time is just different in this other place because the universe and the galaxy and the heavenly bodies are rotating at different rates, creating different cosmos of time.
Kind of like Interstellar.
Right, because time is relative to those things. Mm-hmm. So it's like we aren't even in a situation, unless we get Neil deGrasse Tyson here, we aren't even in a good situation to bemuse ourselves of these ideas other than to humble ourselves to the fact that it can be any one of 1,000 plot lines that we choose to take for time-space.
I think that's what makes it fun, that you can think through all those scenarios, and it could be any of those. But the reason why the story is well constructed is because that doesn't actually matter. All that matters is he's oppressing these people, and our soldier friends and our scientist friend see an issue there.
And I think the questions we have aren't bad.
No, I think it makes it fun.
And they wouldn't have been needed in the movie. You don't need Kowalski as a prisoner. And then Raj like, listen here, Kowalski. This is how it's done. You have this piece of paper and you stick a pencil through it.
Right.
You'll see it in Event Horizon a few years later, and then again in Interstellar.
Or if Ra gives like this whole, like, just wait a second, guys. I've been on this planet and traveling around for 2 million years, and I've seen some things.
Listen up, y'all.
I've been oppressed too, guys.
Yeah. And that makes me happy too, because you watch these movies and, hey, how's my wife of 10 years doing today that I met in college at Florida State when we got our masters together and we have 3 kids and a house in the suburbs? How you doing today? Like, I'm glad there's no, there's none of that.
You mean there's no expository dialogue vehicle?
What if Ra came down to the planet and was like, what did I miss?
Oh my god.
Well, so Ra, though, he's done all these things on the planet where he is now, and this mineral is clearly a part of life there. For some reason, it's important to him because he has these people mining it, like Pharaoh had his slaves building things, right? Mm-hmm. So they're mining this, but he didn't have that on Earth.
No.
So he was able to create our world as we know it without this mineral. So he does not require that mineral to function on Earth unless he gets it from other galaxies like fueling stations, and then he goes out and seeds other places, and then he has to go find another world in this galaxy that has this mineral, this element that we don't have. But clearly it's not important that he always has access to this unless, again, he's hoarding it for something. Maybe he needs that for his time-space travel. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's like in Galaxy Quest when they need to get another beryllium sphere. Yeah. He's slowly building up his beryllium, aka rondonium, I think it was called in this, or something. And he's trying to build that up, but it happens to have other uses because it's this nuclear power source or this, unstable element or something. So again, it's hard to understand, like, was this critical to his species economy originally, or was this an element like we use steel or like we use other things that are rare and mined from Earth, fossil fuels? Is this like that for what was his race, and he's just taking his basic knowledge of the need for that and applying it to the rest of the universe and creating tools with it? And by the way, if he was the last of his kind, how is he maintaining his own ship, a big ship, Mark,
huge ship?
This is what I mean. I assume that every now and then there are maintenance issues of a litany of different forms, and he just was able to, even if he had the knowledge, like in the Matrix, to have all those skill sets. Literally, the man hours it would take. He doesn't have robots around. It was just him, apparently, as the story vaguely tells us. So, like, maybe his ship is that great in his alien technology, but I feel like it takes a lot to operate that huge thing and a lot to create people and to nurture these people and to teach them mining engineering and to create all these spear rifles and the special armor that Osiris and Anubis warriors were wearing. They had to be made. And even if he didn't make it, he had to teach someone to make it. Or does his ship just make it? Like, what? I want to know the economy of labor before we had a civilization of humans.
Do you think he has a bunch of Ugnuts from Star Wars that are just hidden throughout the ship and we never see them?
I feel like he'd use them. but could be, or maybe he did and they've expired and he doesn't have the skill set to fix them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he needs to get more of this rondonium or whatever the hell they called it to eventually recharge their batteries of these things that we don't even see, because we only see the most basic components of his ship, and it's a huge ship.
When that thing lands, it's like a city, basically.
Right. It swallows the bottom, the Great Pyramid that was there. It swallows it. It would take like 50 Great Pyramids to make it. And again, it looks like the pyramid was just a docking station for it.
I saw a funny description in an article that was like, how great is it that there is this god, immortal, who has all of these traveling abilities and whatnot, and he still has to have people make his pyramids for him.
Yeah. I mean...
Well, so I have an idea there.
Uh-oh.
I don't think he needs them. I think this is like he was the last of his kind, and it's not just about survival. What does it matter if you're the last person on Earth and you can live forever, even if you could live forever if you're alone?
You have to be worshipped.
Right. He wants to be worshipped. He literally is getting adorned with all this jewelry by those child vessels, or vassal. That's the word, vassals. And when that happens, you got to realize that jewelry is only valuable because he said it was. Because he created this civilization, and he's like, "Hey guys, this is valuable, and you're gonna dress me in this periodically."
Well, he's also giving them a purpose too. They can't just wait around for him to come back and consume them. They have to be doing something.
But
so
he has like invented jewelry.
Roz, do you think you've ever wrestles with people? Oh, that's bad.
Oh.
All right, on this, let's take a break, and when we come back, we will talk more Stargate. We will be right back. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks, and I gotta ask you two a question. On a scale of 1 to 10, you land on a planet, and you are a god, you're an ancient being who has discovered cross-dimensional travel, you're seemingly immortal, you've seeded life on various planets, but you know on this planet that Kurt Russell's there, and he's a soldier. On a scale of 1 to 10, how screwed are you? Like, what's your thoughts? On a scale of 1 to 10, how afraid are you?
I mean, what are my intentions?
You want to wipe out Kurt Russell.
Oh, well, then I'm probably pretty scared.
To quote Dr. Manhattan from The Watchmen, the smartest human on the planet poses no more threat to me than the smartest cockroach. I assume that Ra views the greatest threat that a man can pose as still no threat at all, even though he knows if he ignores them, they will pose a problem.
So can we assume that I, as a god, and, I hear through the network, do I know who Kurt Russell is? Do I know what this implies?
Yes.
I mean, I might be wary.
He knows it's a bomb. He knows that there's a bomb in front of him, a destructive force.
Yeah. So I saw the copies of Escape from New York on his shelf.
He's got 2 bombs, a left and a right one.
That's right.
Well, then he knows that his greatest weakness is a crossbow to the thigh. Get him limping for the rest of the movie.
I love how he sells that in Escape from New York, by the way. And you know what? We haven't even talked about... Okay.
Wait, is Kurt Russell in this scenario wearing a sleeveless shirt or not?
Yes.
That's much
Oh, well,
scarier.
hold on. Now I'm more nervous, because now I'm going to see
level.
those arms better.
I mean, you saw what he did in Big Trouble in Little China with no sleeves.
Those reflexes. This isn't breakdown Kurt Russell. This isn't Harry, white collar dad. Yeah, this is Jack Burton.
He's going to cause chaos just by trying to help things.
Yeah, just make it worse.
Mm-hmm.
Pork Chop
and
Express.
I got to tell you, after he left Northern California, after defeating that thousands-year-old sorcerer in Chinatown,
in the Pork Chop Express,
and he joined the military and changed his name. He only changed his last name.
Yeah.
Jack Burton to Jack O'Neill.
Yeah.
He was thinking well, what happens if someone calls my name and I don't recognize my name? I got to stick with Jack.
I feel like I need to go through his IMDb now and see how many times he's played Jack.
Yeah, because he's still good old Jack. He can't say good old Rick. He's got to be good old Jack. And what do you think about the economy of the storytelling to tell us where he's at in his life, John, when we first meet him?
I will say that I think was the weakest aspect of the movie that was put on Front Street for us. In the beginning, we are introduced to a man whose clearly contemplating suicide. Or I strongly believe, right? Then he gets reactivated, and he gets his shit together really fast. But whatever, he's career military. He has a purpose. And also, we know that this mission could be a way for him to do something good and put himself out of his own misery. But while I feel that we see the DNA of his trauma in a few scenes that come on later, like even after they rescue him, when Ra's going to have Jackson execute them with the spear rifle thing, and then all the kids do the rebellion with the guns and save him. Then after, it's like he has a moment where he kind of not snaps, but he suddenly loses his shit a bit, and he's like, "Get these guns away from these kids!" And it's well after they're saved, and they're all talking about how great it was that Kowalski's like, "Yeah, man, these guys got it together and saved us." He's like, "Yeah." And he looks over, he's like, "Get these guns away from these kids," you know? And when he's lighting his cigarette, and that main teenager is writing about his lighter and something, when he first starts to reach for the gun, Kurt Russell really snaps at him. And, it's not – I don't think it's as basic as that's a gun that's dangerous. He seems very aware of someone who is not gun-wise being near a gun.
Wasn't that how his kid died?
Yeah.
Accidental gun going
accidentally shot himself, is what they revealed.
I mean,
and so
if a kid's never seen a gun before, he's going to look like if no one knows what a gun is, who knows what's going to happen? Like they're going to pull that trigger not knowing what's going on. Yeah. So he's definitely he does not want that nice kid shooting somebody or himself. For sure.
Presumably, though, they may have before seen the wrath of those spaceship fighters shooting things, even though that doesn't necessarily look like a gun. They've seen the spear rifles potentially in action. That's how the fear was learned at some point, right? That's where the discipline was learned, I assume. Not just being like whacked with them like and they're clubs. So yeah, I think that they're aware of things that shoot things. And I think that they could have readily understood that this gun is kind of analogous to that.
Why does Ra have so few troops?
Because he doesn't need them.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
I think fear is already there.
Because the firepower is so tremendous that he has at his disposal. If there's a rebellion, he just is hiding safely in his ship, and he just launches out a couple fighter jets. Yeah. And they waste to a chunk of the town, and then they fall in line. And then when most of them are scared, you send out the troops in person to put the face on his enforcers, and they shoot a couple of them maybe, or shoot some things. I think that because of the resource and artillery disparity, it's easy to be king among cavemen when you have one gun.
Yeah, this doesn't make for good content, but I totally agree with what John says.
Yes. No, I'm with you. I agree. And and also, I mean, we haven't even touched on the character of Dr. Daniel Jackson. Bark, 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 bark. I mean, so Dr. Spader, who's also Jackson, you have Jack O'Neill and then Dr. Daniel Jackson. So, I mean, in the beginning, he's making a horrible speech in front of a bunch of people. This did not happen, but I have no proof. So that's an interesting speech. But, I mean, what do you guys think about Dr. Daniel Jackson? And then he gets married off to Shuri. And they actually have great communication. They start chatting. And then he saves her later on. I mean, what do you all think about Jackson's?
Well, you had watched the commentary and told me how he was worried about being in a sci-fi movie, so he tried to make it more interesting and nuanced and do little quirky things. And that's all I could really focus on when I watched it. So then I kept thinking that he was being really weird.
Yeah, because John, in the commentary, he was like, this is my character's stupid. Like, he was really worried. So he just wanted to make his character as interesting as possible in this. So he added just a lot of little tidbits in it. And, he's walking up the hill and he's like, oh, this is nice. Oh, this is great. And sitting down at his candy bar. And I think he tried his best to make it as interesting as possible. What do you think about Jackson?
We all get our own 10.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I love it when he says that specifically, when everyone else is annoyed with him because he can't get them back. Oh, that's nice. We all get our own 10. Look at that.
Yeah. Do you like the little eccentricities that he added to his character? Do you feel like they were too much? What do you think about Dr. DDJ? Dr. Daniel Jackson. Jackson.
I think that it's really true to form that when you have someone that knows a lot about something, right? Egyptology, different cultures, and you're the only one around who does, it's very, very difficult to communicate these things. And it can create a more stifled speech pattern. You know, you're trying to gather your thoughts because you're used to dealing with other academics and starting at F instead of having to go through A, B, and C that he learned in undergrad, you know, and E, F, and G that he started to learn in grad school going through old scripts and old history books, or world civilizations classes or whatever. So I think he's a little stifled by it. It's one of those things where you know so much about something that you don't even know where to begin. And so he foibles around with it. He makes a lot of assumptions, almost like an absent-minded professor notion. He's not used to thinking of situational awareness. He doesn't realize, or at least they don't show us in the movie, that when he's going and it's his goal just to figure out the thing to get them right back, he doesn't realize that they're not going out exploring. He's like, well, there have to be other structures here. They're like, that's not the mission. So he clearly wasn't even paying attention to things like that if he was briefed, but those aren't the things that he thinks about. He is an academic. He thinks he gets to intellectually explore something to try and make extrapolations. They're like, you're going to get there, you're going to see something, and you're going to do it. And they expect a much more basic result, lacking the notion that we think of exploration and consideration. And so I think that goes just to the communication too, right? He even when he starts to learn the language, before he starts to learn the language, he's trying to get a beat on the language. And when he's trying to explain things, he's even doing things that it makes no sense that they'd understand, even in gestures sometimes. And so, but you know, it's like sometimes you do awkward things, like when you're interacting with someone's 2-year-old, or I should actually say 1-year-old, and you're like, oh, I think he's trying to signal this, and you're trying to do something, you're not getting the reaction. I don't know. It's weird, these human connections and these misfires. But I'm starting to ramble. Megan, save me.
Yeah, so when he's trying to communicate with the tribal people, I think that actually works really well because all his weird sort of ticky stuff, he can't really communicate with them yet because they don't know what he's saying. So all those weird tics make more sense because he's having to go through and sort of experiment and talk to them or communicate in a way that they might respond to.
And the whole buck, 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 buck.
Tastes like chicken.
Yeah. But you see, that's funny because it would be silly to blindly assume there were chickens there.
Yeah.
So when he's doing that, it's a silly thing, but you're not thinking that far ahead. You're just like, it tastes like chicken. You guys know, buck, buck, buck. But if you thought about it, it would make no sense to do that.
I guess we can give him a pass because interdimensional travel.
I just like that they then identify him with that thing later.
Oh yeah, when Kurt Russell tries to tell them about him, dweeb
with the glasses.
Oh, glasses,
the long hair.
Glasses. Dweeb, long hair.
When they're mimicking him, that's cute.
The eyes. Spader sneezes in this movie
are obnoxious.
They're not sneezes. They don't...
What did you say? It's not how a human sneezes?
No. I've listened to many human sneezes in my life.
I know. I'm sitting upstairs in the office all the time and you bless me when I sneeze.
His are like honks.
It's
honks?
Like...
Yeah. They're closer to a honk.
He's like vibrating his lips at the same time that he's exhaling.
I know he's not really sneezing.
Are you sure? There's a lot of dust and sand.
But as far as movie sneezes go, I wouldn't put this in the top 23.
Maybe they should have just taken some sand and blown it in his face when he needed to sneeze.
Keep some cat fur around. But what do you... John, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good are his sneezes? 10's great, 1's bad.
It was really poor.
It
was really poor.
Is that a sneeze? But I love that, though. And then that one guy kept balking too long. And then they slapped him. I felt bad for that guy. He ends up dying, too.
Yeah, there was one really funny thing about the communication, though. Remember when he says, they're inviting us to go with them? And Kowalski says, well, how do you know that? He says, because and he does the motion. They're inviting us to go with them.
Yeah. And I love, too, how he just walks up to him and says, hey. I think that's the first thing he says. Like, hey, how we going? Hey. No, but, I actually like the dynamic that he has with his wife, Shuri. They start communicating, and then they can't write, because if you can read, that can lead to learning, which can lead to revolution.
Strategy.
Which happened to him earlier on Earth, because they buried the Stargate. they're thinking. Yeah. So, I mean, I like the relationship with her, I guess. They married her off quick. Bunny Way married...
She was available.
Yeah.
For Marion.
Well, they did think that he was sent by Ra.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, because of the symbol.
They probably keep one on reserve. Like, you are the prettiest one of this time.
Yeah.
Until you get too old or unpretty, you are the one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's interesting. I had to watch this twice, and then I was thinking about it after I watched it, before I thought of this. So we know he's wearing the Eye of Ra. They are in an Egyptian model because that's what Ra created, right? Or alien Ra created. Well, but they literally thought that alien Ra sent him because alien Ra is their god. So it's funny. I didn't realize that when I was watching it. Any of the times I've ever watched this, at first I'm thinking, yeah, they think that the god Ra sent them. Oh yeah, this guy is Ra. He's Pharaoh, their living god. And I never put the two together, that they thought that he was sent like he was a disciple of their alien tyrant.
They must have been very confused how friendly he was.
Maybe they were like, oh, he's the new overseer.
Yeah.
Well, again, we don't know how long their civilization is, so it might really be a tale of forefathers that tells of the destructive power of Ra's men.
Oh, yes, like in Werner Herzog's latest documentary, Fireball.
Yeah.
And maybe Ra hasn't been there with his ship for generations.
That seems like it, right? Because remember later on when they're like, Ra's called us for an assembly. They didn't say, I guess it's just by the delivery. When he's called for an assembly, everyone's going, they're like, oh man, we gotta go back and see Ra. So it didn't seem...
That's true. The people know how to respond to that. But, I mean, he was somewhere else. Where was he?
I mean, I like what you said. So crops, right? You harvest crops once a year. So on the farm in Iowa that my family has, they harvest. Well, it depends on the year. Let's just say corn. All right? You harvest corn in the fall. So he comes by in the fall once a year, picks up his minerals, slaps around some people, and leaves.
Well, I mean, it could even be every 5 years.
And they don't have calendars.
Yeah.
They can't write
because again,
down.
We're using our notion of annual things and
like
seasons. And does this planet even have seasons?
Mm-hmm.
Does a year mean anything to them? Like he could have been gone for a month. He could have been gone for 10 years.
Are there seasons in the desert?
Yes.
I want to know more about the monsters. Because that little horn thing they were eating looked pretty tough.
Mm-hmm.
Like that armadillo-looking thing?
Yeah. Are there sarlacc pits? Are there sarlaccs that are creating pits?
Are there crate dragons?
Yes.
I mean, there's certainly going to be a fauna there because these people are eating things. There need to be plants that we haven't seen for our herbivores to eat. There presumably need to be things to pollinate those plants unless angiosperms haven't evolved yet in their world. But there needs to be, I mean, we have gut flora for digestive purposes. We have microorganisms in our digestive system. So there needs to be some level of fauna there, even if it's not heavily diverse because it's a desert.
Mm-hmm.
If you travel 1,000 miles from there, is it like equatorial Congo? Where it's rainforest and mountains? Like, we don't know what this planet is.
How far is Ra's ship away from the... Okay, but they also have that massive walled world.
Mm-hmm.
If this was a totally safe... Oh, but probably from the sandstorms, you want to protect yourself. That's why the walls are there. But it also seems heavily fortified, too. So I wonder if there are critters that want to get in there and run amok. That's why they have that giant... I mean, mostly, I think, for sandstorms.
But Ra has also seeded different different worlds. We know at least 2 worlds, right? Mm-hmm. And those worlds are still using the same baseline Egyptian cultural pattern. So he might be providing instruction.
I want to see Ra out there. This is how you do it.
Well, and there's the need for 7 symbols, so that's a lot of combinations. I'm not going to do some sort of calculation here. Which means he needed that many symbols to enable travel to a lot of places, because otherwise wouldn't you just had a couple symbols?
Yeah.
Well, and while we're at it, I mean, we've done everyone's seen movies like Star Wars or Star Trek, and we understand there are different worlds of races, universes of races, if you will, that independently evolved, even though in Star Trek they all look like humans with modifications on them, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But that withstanding, Oh God, where was I going with this? I think my brain just
lots of locations, 7 symbols.
Star Wars, Star Trek, they have a lot of places, but then you made a gag about Star Trek just having humans with mops on their heads being aliens.
I really don't know where I was going with that.
You know, I actually...
Oh my God.
I read a sci-fi book that sort of explained that phenomenon in a lot of worlds where they're bipedal and they look human, because the original old gods were like, we're gonna create all these things that look like us.
Wow.
And
right, created in our image, sure.
Mm-hmm.
So Ra.
That's what Gaga was thinking about.
Oh my gosh.
It was.
But all right, so then I guess they get to the castle, they find out, they blow up the. You know what I love too is when they attack the civilization. They didn't have much money in the budget, so they just did a bunch of really tight shots of people flying around. So Emmerich went in there with a camera and just did some close-ups of people falling down.
It's pretty inventive.
And then the one sandstorm in there, he just saw it happening and he grabbed a camera and ran out with it. He's like, "We gotta get this for B-roll." So that Roland Emmerich grabbed a random camera and just started shooting it.
Just take the camera, toss it down a dune.
Yeah.
Let it keep filming.
That's great.
Yeah,
I remember what I was trying to get.
There it comes.
We were talking about the Stargate itself.
Yes.
What if, so I was talking about all these different worlds and different universes. Who's to say that Stargate was created by Ra's race?
Yeah.
That could have been, like, think of Valerian in the World of 1,000 Planets.
No.
Like, think of Star Trek and
I want to think about that movie.
But think of Star Wars and how we keep going to different planets, and even though everyone has very similar technology, it seems. But notwithstanding, we're talking about different universes potential. Like Ra clearly can travel pretty far because he went to the other side of the known universe.
Mm-hmm.
Think about Spider-Man into the multiverse.
Yeah.
So maybe the Stargate is something that predates even the existence or evolution of his own species.
Yeah, no, that's totally plausible.
Jeez Louise. This Ra's up to something.
He might hardly know how to use that thing. He might have found that like humans stumbling across an Allspark in Transformers and then just figuring out something they can do with it, and they think that's what it's for, but really they just figured out a thing you can do with it. Like, he might only have figured out how to safely get to a couple places.
Yeah. And he needs
he might not be just putting in wherever he wants to go. He might be like, wait, if I get this wrong and I don't, know the orbits of some of these universes or something where there might be debris from an old war of spaceships, I could teleport right into debris and get destroyed. Or maybe their technology circumvents that. I really have no idea. I'm hand waving now, guys.
Think of all of the fandom crossover possibilities if a different studio acquired it.
Yeah, this goes over to Disney.
Could be part of any fandom.
X-Men versus
Stargates, they'd be everywhere.
Bring Kurt Russell back as O'Neill.
Oh, the Benedict Cumberbatch, the
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, he opens up his own Stargates.
And Ra's just there.
What?
I kind of like the idea of Ra having more agency, though. Because Ra does willy-nilly brain melt one of the warriors.
He Shang Tsung's one of the warriors.
Yeah, Shang Tsung's one of them. So they must have spare henchmen around. Because these henchmen, they have a pretty heavy workload. They got to know how to fly. You have to train these ones. You can't just pick up.
We're only aware of the existence of about 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he could power the ship with intention and magic.
I guess it is magic.
He's a god.
At the end,
Who is to limit a god?
They didn't show Ra's death scene, and the audience were like, "We need to see Ra die." So at the last minute, they filmed Ra's face melting.
That was cool. A papier-mâché alien or something that was air cannoned in slow-mo.
They didn't even have that. And the audience was like, "You need to kill him. You need to kill Jay Davidson.
We need to make sure he died in that world-destroying cataclysm."
Yeah. You just see a parachute in the offset. "You got me this time, Kurt Russell. I'll be back."
You make it more hokey, like the end of an Inspector Gadget episode. "I'll get you next time, Gadget." Like Dr. Claw.
Kurt Russell. It's French Stewart.
How many of our listeners right now are saying, "What on earth is Inspector Gadget?"
French Stewart played Inspector Gadget in the sequel.
Go Gadget dear. Finger.
Yep. And that was French Stewart in the sequel, and then Matthew Broderick in the first one.
Yeah.
How far he has fallen.
I watched the cartoon.
Yeah, I mean, Kurt Russell should have played him. But no, I guess, this movie came out in 94. It came out in October, and it still did pretty well with the box office. And in 94, too, to be so successful, because I think action was moving in a different place. And you can tell me if I'm wrong or not, but you had True Lies, you had Speed, there was Pulp Fiction, there was kind of a different world. And this one comes out, Stargate, and I think it was a success. Do you think this movie was maybe a success because it sort of satiated a sort of old-timey action-adventure, very Lawrence of Arabia style film?
I was going to say, I feel like they sci-fi'd Indiana Jones and divided Indiana Jones' character into a couple different characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your warrior, your investigator, your academic, right? And a couple of basics, but it felt more like that. It felt more like an adventure movie than an action movie. And while they can be the same thing, someone may say The Mummy is an action movie, but I say it is, but it's an adventure movie.
Yeah, I definitely get Indiana Jones vibes. The whole movie, just the score reminds me of it, and just the tone of the movie. It's very adventure, going on an adventure.
We're responding more to the scale of the results of their actions than the scale of how their actions look themselves.
Say it again.
Okay, we're responding more to the scale of the result of their actions. What are they saving? Who are they up against, and what are they saving, and what's at stake, rather than what the fight scene looks like, if you will. The action itself is not impressive. It is what is at stake and what the result of the action is. That's what, in my head, makes an action movie into an adventure movie.
And you know what's interesting that you say that? I think when studios make good adventure movies, such as Stargate, The Mummy with Brendan Fraser, or National Treasure, they are...
Expendables 3.
Yeah, well, love that movie. They're blockbusters. I mean, the first Mummy was a legit blockbuster. National Treasure was number one at the weekend all through Christmas in 2004. 3 weekends in a row was number one. And it pulled in, I think 300-some million worldwide. Stargate, at the end of the day, did 200 million worldwide. Now add that up with inflation. But you have this sense of adventure. You have some hieroglyphics. You have some clues. You're kind of lost in a spot. You have to find a way to get back.
Well, they tend to be very breezy. They move along through the plot. You don't feel bogged down or like you're sitting there waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, there's always momentum in these movies. Because Stargate, right? They get to Stargate in no time.
Yeah.
He's playing tic-tac-toe on the Stargate. And then they're at the place, and then Ra comes down, then they come back, and then they get loose, and then they come back in the battle. It's so fast-paced. Like the Mummy, right? They let the Mummy loose, all hell comes loose. National Treasure, he's always looking for treasure.
They never stop moving.
So do you think audiences are just hungry? So it seems like critics don't really, they didn't love. Mummy just is now fresh at 61%. National Treasure's rotten. Stargate's rotten. But audiences eat them up. I mean, this is a 7.1 score on IMDb. 70-something score on Rotten Tomatoes from audiences. Do you think just audiences are hungry for adventure movies, John, that are good?
When you can respond well to the scale of the action, I think that it provokes a more emotional response. I'd like to compare True Lies and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, especially because I think that this movie models after Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Right? Yeah. They're traveling. They just end up somewhere by accident, stumble across an oppressed people. And even though they don't focus on it a lot, they are enslaved to mine this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they save them against this powerful, sorceress, mystical leader. And then they just go on their way. One stays. But, then they just go on their way. But so in Indiana Jones, think of the fights. We love watching the fights, but Indiana Jones is not a good fighter. He's just scrappy. And he's fighting a lot of people who aren't good fighters. And when he ever fights people who are good fighters, he usually gets his butt handed to him, and he barely gets out.
Mm-hmm.
The fights are not impressive. They're fun to watch, because Harrison Ford's a good actor and Spielberg's a good director. But the action is not what's getting us. It's the result of the action. It's the joke of how he wins, right? We're focusing on that, and then we're responding to him saving this enslaved people. In True Lies, Tom Arnold and Arnold Schwarzenegger are saving a huger number of people from a horrible, cataclysmic nuclear death. But we're watching Schwarzenegger beat the crap out of people, and that's what's fun. We're seeing him launch a terrorist on a missile into another helicopter. That's what's fun. We are not responding to the scale of things. And so, again, while it's fun watching people beat the snot out of bad guys, you feel more when you see Indiana Jones saving all those kids. You know what's at stake when he's trying to do it, and you think about it more. That's just my take on it. I think it's more fun to watch True Lies every damn week in a row because the fights are so fun. I think that I can predict responding to scale.
What about Tomb Raider? Action, adventure?
The problem, I love True Lies. Oh, I like Tomb Raider. Those were huge hits in video game and.
But would you lean more into action or adventure? Or...
I think that movies like Tomb Raider and The Mummy are doing a really good job of marrying the action more into the adventure.
Yeah, that makes sense. Some of her fight scenes are memorable, especially in the setup in the beginning. Like they establish she's tough.
Mm-hmm.
But then you go on an adventure.
You should listen to our True Lies episode, by the way.
Personally, by the way, I think Tomb Raider is more of an action movie.
Okay.
I think they focus a lot on the action scenes, and I don't feel the scale as much. That's personal, but that's my take.
With True Lies, I love True Lies, but there's just too much of like the lying to the family, and then she becomes a spy, and then the Bill Paxton. That's what keeps me from watching it every week. It's more of a yearly one for me. I like National Treasure because it's just so.
Oh, it's so cheeky too.
Yeah,
Great.
Yeah, and there's no like.
There's no drama really with the characters. The story itself is sort of.
And that's not a knock on True Lies, but I guess it's for me why I love adventure movies, right? Like I just like Deep Blue Sea. There's really no drama. It just goes.
The stuff in True Lies, those are almost like asides from the adventure.
Yeah, because he has to get his wife, and there's Bill Paxton in there.
It's not as linear. It's more of a zigzag.
Maybe that's why I like the movies I like the most are just hand motions on a podcast. Hey now, but no, this was fun. So before we get out of here, I want to get your okay, Megan, John, your top 2 favorite moments from Stargate.
Oh God, top moments from Stargate. This is immensely difficult. I really do. I don't know why. Every time I watch the movie, I'm so charmed by James Spader when he says, when everyone's just so sick that they have to set up camp there, oh, look at everyone tense. That's nice. Like, that's an odd character moment. It's very charming. And even if that was written in the script already, the line delivery, the reading of that was just so there. It was perfect. So for me, that would be one.
I love it. Meg, what's one of your 2 favorite parts?
Probably the scene where Kurt Russell is talking to the tribal kids looking for James Spader, and he's just, he's going through the motions. He's got the glasses, and he's doing, and they're just mimicking him because they don't know what he's getting at, and then he gets the bok, and it's just such a charming moment.
It's little character bits we're talking about. I like it.
Well, it gives him a little bit more personality too. I saw so many reviews that just described him as square-jawed, steely-eyed.
Blue-eyed, steel-jaw.
Yeah.
Curdy Russ.
But he's got personality there, and that's fun.
And then hey, what's up? All right, John, what's your second favorite?
Again, it's a very subtle thing, but when they say, wait, hold on, but we haven't seen that symbol on the device. Jackson says, what device? General looks at Colonel O'Neill.
Oh no, this is going to be my second one.
He just calmly looks over at Colonel O'Neill. Colonel O'Neill, who always has a damn cigarette in his hand, just does this really subtle, like, half hand motion, like, show him. But he just does that little motion, and they just raise the whiteboard. And you see, and this combines into another thing that I like that is sort of separate, is that when all of a sudden you reveal that they've been researching the Independence Day spaceship, when all of a sudden you realize they've been working on the Starship, the Stargate, and there are all these people who are in the middle of working round the clock. And if Jackson didn't discover this, they still would have been there working round the clock doing things. And they just stroll in. And, the whole team's there working on the little machines. But yeah, little Kurt Russell, the subtle Kurt Russell hand motion with the cigarette. It's so lackadaisical. He's just phoning it in. He just has to be there. Just show him.
I love it.
So, Meg, you really like that one? That
was actually my second one when he just says, "Show them the device," and they unveil it. It's a great moment.
That's what you get from pros.
Very memorable.
All right, this is the last thing before we get out of here.
Oh, he's going to pull a draft. He's going to pull the rug out.
No, I'm not. I'm going to do something different.
Okay.
You two are raw, right?
What?
Megan, you're raw. John, you're raw. You're landing on a planet. But you find out that 3 human movie characters are there. And you learn who they are, and you just want to turn around. And, like, I'm not even dealing with this. What 3 human characters would make you want to turn around your spaceship?
Can we do a draft?
No! No, this is fun. Yeah.
This is the draft.
You guys
are going to come 3 and we can't overlap.
No humans. No, like, only humans. So
only
no Thor. You have humans on this planet. And you're just like, oh gosh. It's these 3.
Meg, do you want to start, Meg? Can I start if you're not ready?
Yeah, go for it.
I want Beck from Walking Tall.
Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson, or not Walking Tall, Beck, I'm sorry, from The Rundown.
It's
Beck.
Oh,
Beck is Dwayne Johnson from The Rundown.
I'm out of here.
Because that guy, when he is dedicated to doing something, an army of baddies cannot seem to stop him. And he never misses with a gun. Ever. Never misses.
Never. And he can knock out pillars with his shoulder, and he can fall from 40 feet and be fine.
Right.
He's legit. All right, Meg.
I want Snake Plissken.
Ooh. Yeah.
He gets the job done in the worst situations.
Yes, he does. He always gets the job done. All right.
He's not as fun as Jack, but he gets it done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Dr. Indiana Jones.
Indeed.
Because I guess I'm getting meta here, but it's because I would totally underestimate his threat.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. No, but you have to. You're like, Indiana Jones is on this planet. I'm out of here. Like that's.
But either way, he's an archaeologist with a history of fighting oppressors, and even though he's just a regular guy, he's no ninja, he's no weapons expert, he's no technology expert, but he's just a scrappy guy who just always seems to succeed just on blood and heart.
I love it.
Like just a passion to protect and help.
So yeah, Indiana Jones and Beck. Megan, you got Snake Plissken. Who's your second?
Ooh, that's tough. I don't know his character name, but Lamorne Morris from Bloodshot.
Yes.
Which one was he?
The hacker.
He's the hacker, and he gets Vin Diesel
was he the one with the legs?
in his van.
No, he's the good hacker that teams up with him at the end.
Okay.
From New Girl. He's just the cheeky hacker. You don't want a hacker on these planets. You'd find out a way to hack your ship.
That's good. I need that.
I like it.
I'd recruit him.
All right, who's your third, John?
Okay. Gotta dig deep here. Just regular. It's hard because I need to compartmentalize like regular dudes. I keep thinking of things, and they're like, kind of souped up. So okay, let's just go with something that randomly came to mind. It's a Kurt Russell inspired thing, but it's not Kurt Russell. I'm trying to avoid Kurt Russell, by the way, like deliberately. It would be really fun to just pick him, but it seems too easy. I want Egg Shen. Egg Shen. He knows a lot about mystical things. Not that he's some superpowered thing. Like his sorcery is very, I think, within the realms of just human power. Like he's not going to go like lay waste to a spaceship.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and he knows about gods and mysticism, so he has some tricks and some stuff that he can throw at people.
But like, while Indiana Jones is kind of my Jack Burton-esque scrapper who gets things done somehow all the time successfully, I think that Egg Shen is the inspirer, and then your Beck is the muscle.
I love it. Beck, Indy, and Egg Shen. So Megan, you just got called out by John for making a too easy pick for Snake Plissken. So you got Snake Plissken.
Because we just talk about Kurt Russell so much. Like I feel
I'm messing with you, John. It's all right.
I feel like that's just all so fresh in our head all the time, Mark.
No, I'm just so you got Snake Plissken, Meg, Lamorne Morris. Who's your third?
Wait, I gotta get her name because I don't want to.
I do love Egg Shen, Indiana Jones, and Beck. I'd turn around. Because Egg goes into battle, Indy goes into battle, and Beck goes into battle. You're not gonna win.
Win what?
Nothing. If I was a god, I'd turn around my spaceship.
Yeah, I mean, they're a formidable group, right?
I just love some Bloodshot love in this. Have you seen Bloodshot yet, John?
I did.
Love that movie.
Okay, I want.
You didn't say anything, so you must not like it.
I thought it was fine.
Yeah. I know. After potting with you for years, I know the John response.
was fine. I didn't want to, drop a bomb on it because it tried without a lot of budget, and it did a lot with that low budget, but it just didn't strike me well.
Oh, I don't know her name. So the badass woman from Extraction.
Oh, yeah, with the rocket launcher.
Yes, with the rocket launcher.
Yeah, she's cool.
And then she assassinates the guy.
And she's in Patterson.
She's awesome.
Oh, yeah, she kills the dude. The lady from Extraction with the rocket launcher.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
You're talking about the woman who first gets Chris Hemsworth on assignment, right?
Yeah.
I want to say she looks Indian, but I'm being an ignorant American. It could be Nepalese, Burmese, something, but she has that look, yes?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking of.
She blows up a rocket. She has a rocket launcher, and she kills a dude at the end. I love it. These are great picks. So you two are mad about drafts, so we're going to end with a draft here.
Yes.
Oh, now we're doing a draft.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to make you do Roland Emmerich movies, and you can either pick 3 or 5. John, 3 or 5?
I think we should do 3, especially since I need to look this up.
All right, Meg. All right, so John, 1 or 2?
2.
All right, Meg, you get first pick.
You switched it.
All right, Meg, so you got to do a Roland Emmerich movie that he directed.
That he directed or wrote? Or
directed.
Okay.
Oh, wow, he did that one?
He did everything.
All right, so.
I want...
And the spoiler, you can do Ringers Away. No worries.
I want The Patriot.
All right, The Patriot.
Oh, I was totally going to take that first, but it's okay. I want Anonymous.
Anonymous.
I loved Anonymous. When he gave Rhys Ifans a title role that was in no way goofy, it was all like suave and egomaniacal, but still cared about the writing. That's such a cool movie.
No shirtless flexing, too, which Rhys Ifans did a lot in Notting Hill and Replacement, so you already respected that.
I love Notting Hill.
All right, Meg, second pick.
I want The Day After Tomorrow.
The Day After Tomorrow. You love that movie.
It's very memorable sort of visuals.
Yeah.
I would totally camp out in a library.
All right, John.
I want Universal Soldier.
Oh, that's a clincher. That's a good one. All right, Meg, third one.
Independence Day.
ID4. All right, John, you're last. Lots to choose from still.
White House Down.
White House Down.
Just for something ridiculous.
No one picked Stargate.
Well, because we were trying to be nice.
Oh, I like it. All right, so Day After Tomorrow, The Patriot, and ID4 versus Anonymous, Universal Soldier, and White House Down.
I still think I might have picked my 3 if this wasn't a Stargate pod. That's a tough call, but I really like my 3.
Oh, no, these are good. I mean, Universal Soldier can't beat that. Love that movie. But no, this was fun. Any final thoughts about Stargate before we get out of here? John?
A lot of times I have something to say, like this movie is so much more than people always realize it is, and the more times I watch it, the more I appreciate it. I think the more times I watch this, the more I just revel in my own nostalgia for it. But like this, like we said, it's not like a deep, pithy movie. There aren't layers to unravel with subsequent watching. It's certainly the antithesis of watching Fight Club for a second time. But I really like it. I guess what I really enjoyed the journey of noticing more about the character nuance. Now that we've watched it, X number of times, and you think about it for the pod, that's my big takeaway is when you watch this again, folks, not for the first time, but if you're watching it for like your second, third, or fourth time, next time you watch it, really pay attention to these characters and just like bask in the subtlety and I think the greatness of some of these characters.
We get our own tens. We get our own tens. How nice. What a good line reading. I love it. All right, Meg, what's your final thought about this?
It's sort of about the movie, but more about... I recommend go reading Ebert's review, because it is kind of vicious, but it's got some good zingers in it. I mean, they're very memorable and funny. He calls Ra's voice an elevator recording with a cold.
Brother.
And
it was kind of annoying. It was kind of annoying.
Yeah, it's just there's some really, it's mean, or just it's not giving the movie the credit that it's due, but he's got some really memorable singers in there. He calls it a film school exercise, and for you to be as crazy as possible, insert the god Ra, and make sure something gets blowed up real good.
Oh, wow. I guess my final thought is just keep it simple. I mean, this is a simple plot, very linear, very straight line, as John said. And it created four TV shows and animated shows, and I guess simple's good, I guess, in a lot of cases. And that's why this movie's lived on for so long, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's super practical. It holds up visually. It doesn't look like it's super dated. I mean, it looks nice and clear.
Yeah, I dig it.
The graphics aren't bad.
Hey, wait, no one picked Midway.
Because we had other movies here.
Can I add my team into it with whatever's left?
Sure.
Oh, you're gonna scrap? Okay, the bottom. You go ahead. You want Midway?
Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna take
Stargate, Mark.
I'm taking Stargate.
Midway.
Yeah.
I'm taking Stargate, Midway, and no, I don't like either of those. I don't even know what Stonewall is. Let's see.
Did you notice that he's apparently doing the remake of Stargate?
Godzilla.
Okay, good pick. It would be interesting if yours, when you pick from the bottom, wins the three-way draft.
Stargate, Midway, and Godzilla are getting smashed.
You're gonna do a three-way, right? On the website? Okay.
I'm gonna do what? So go to Movies, Films, and Flicks Facebook, and you can vote on our Roland Emmerich squad, and then I'll also showcase the squads that I love. These teams: Beck, Indiana Jones, and Egg Shen, Snake Plissken, Lamorne Morris, and Rocket Launcher. Oh man, and Patterson. Can we call her Patterson?
Yeah.
Because his last name's Patterson, so we can call her Patterson. It's Gold. I know that I learned how to pronounce this name. Goldshifte Farahani. So yeah, she's so. Have you seen?
She is a badass in that movie.
And isn't she really nice in Patterson? She's so cool.
She's a designer.
That's another movie I haven't seen, Patterson.
Yeah, in Patterson she's super earthy and just very kind.
Yeah, she's thoughtful. She's a designer.
And then she's rocket launching people in Extraction.
Oh my gosh, it's such a turn. And
you love that scene.
I do. Well, I like the end scene too. I mean, I wouldn't want to give away what happens at the end, but she's awesome in that too.
Yeah, I like that they gave her that. That was cool.
I have a random thought about the pod.
What?
The best way to buy time is to turn your notebook to a page that doesn't have your notes on it.
Why?
Because it took you forever to find your notes for this because I had used a blank page in the notebook for mine and ripped it out.
My notes, John, look like the Unabomber. If someone found my notebook, they're like, arrest this man.
It's like John Doe's writing from Seven.
Exactly, yeah.
But it's not that so much as Mark just doesn't write in like the next available page. He just sort of opens the notebook and writes in it.
My brain doesn't work. I'm not Stargate.
So if you accidentally close it while cleaning up the house or something, it's very hard to find that page again.
I don't work like this movie does.
I bought myself so much time and I didn't even mean to.
Yeah, Megan just closes a book and buys herself 5 minutes because I'm sorting through papers. But yeah, this was fun. Thank you for joining me, John, for we missed it. It was supposed to be 3:25, but I'll get it out as soon as possible. But thank you for joining me, John.
Yep.
All right, so for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for John Levengood, and for Megan Hoffmeyer, they're about to go back and sweep some sand dunes. This is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.